Business activity continues to decline. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Got my stein of coffee that I'm continuing to work through, and I thought we'd have a look at the latest business activity data from the Commonwealth Bank, or the Commonwealth Bank Services PMI. Now, some of the recent information to come out that I think is relevant here is from, the NAB, from November, the business confidence and business conditions. Both of them, while business conditions slightly ticked up, are not looking particularly good. Guys, they're not looking particularly good. Building approvals are trending down. It'll be interesting to see what data comes out about this. I know over the holiday period, it's usually pretty quiet, but we'll have to keep an eye on it, guys. And consumer confidence, that's also trending down. So let's have a look at this services PMI. And before we go through it, I'm just going to I'll bring up here and we'll read through the definition of what this PMI is on the favorite website that I'm looking at the moment, Trading Economics, just to give you a bit of an understanding. The Commonwealth Bank Services PMI is based on data compiled from monthly replies to questionnaires sent to a representative panel of purchasing executives in over 400 private sector services firms in Australia. The panel is stratified by GDP and company workforce size. The services sector is divided into the following 5 broad categories: transport and storage, consumer services, information and communication, finance and insurance, and real estate and business services. A reading above 50 indicates an expansion of the manufacturing sector compared to the previous month, or services sector here, I think it's a typo. Below 50 represents a contraction, while 50 indicates no change. Okay? So that kind of gives you an understanding of who is responding to this. So this is based on questionnaires where they try and remove any, bias in it with just quite simple questions. So let's have a look. The Australian services business activity shrank further at the end of the year, accompanied by a fall in employment. Now, we haven't seen any changes to the unemployment rate. The last data we got, employment shot up. So how do you think that's going to be a start to the year? We've got the natural disasters affecting our economy. We've got the potential for tourist decline affecting our economy. We've got the issues in the Middle East and the concerns that's creating on a global stage. So it's gonna be an interesting year, guys. This will definitely be an interesting year. So back to this. However, the survey also showed improved demand as reflected by firmer sales growth and rising export trade. Backlogs also increased further, while business confidence remained positive. On the price front, input costs continued to rise at a marked rate, but charges were up marginally. So we can see here, so it's still slightly down. All positive all this time. And boom, it dove at the beginning of this year, shot up, went back down, shot up, went back down. So could you call that a trend down, maybe, over the time? The headline figure derived from the survey is the Commonwealth Bank of Australia Services Business Activity Index, which is designed to provide timely indicators of changes in business activity in the Australian services sector. Readings above 50 signal an improvement in business activity on the previous month, while readings below 50 show deterioration. Seasonally adjusted business activity index rose fractionally from 49.7 in November to 49.8 in December, indicating a marginal decrease in the level of activity for a second straight month. Okay, and we'll just jump over here to read this bit. So, contraction, slower rate of decline. So it's still contracting. The contraction has slowed, guys. Drought-related disruptions and subdued sales growth continue to dampen services output according to survey respondents. The decrease in services activity contributed to the first fall in employment for 5 months amid reports of company restructuring and layoffs. So I wonder if this will be significant enough for us to see in the next unemployment figures, guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, because we'll have to wait and see where that's going. None of this is screaming confidence for this year for the economy. I was reading the piece yesterday, about the Gold Coast real estate agents pushing a boom. And the only thing I could take from that is people retiring in the southern states, relocating to the Gold Coast. Those who don't need employment and have their own wealth, live independently, I could see that as the only opportunity there. Can you see any others? I wouldn't be moving there for work. I mean, there's a reason why. I have family down there. Rachel and I looked at the options of setting up an architectural practice down there and settling there as a family, or up here in Brisbane. Would have been easier down there. We had family everywhere. We decided in Brisbane because it's a city. The Gold Coast isn't a city. Sorry, everyone, but I'm allowed to pay it out. I went down there. I grew up down there. So reduced output, meanwhile, also constrained the pricing power of firms. Despite another solid rise in business costs, prices charged for Australian services were raised only marginally in December, after a decline in November. Increased fees were linked in general to higher expenses, though some firms that reduced selling prices pointed to greater competition. Demand conditions, both at home and abroad, strengthened in December. Total new business intake rose at the fastest rate for 3 months, supported by a recovery in export orders. Overall sales growth continued to add pressure on operating capacity, with the level of backlogs increasing further at the end of the year, albeit only slightly. Finally, long-term prospects remained positive. The Future Output Index, a measure of sentiment, registered well above the no change 50 level, at just over half of panelists expecting higher activity over the next 12 months. Why? We're seeing this. They're laying off staff. Things are slowing down. We've got all these natural disasters around the world. When did they do the survey? We'll have to see I'll come back to this next month, and we'll have to see where this indicator is, if they're still as optimistic at the end of January. I think that'll be an important thing to dwell on. Remind me about that in the next video, guys. Optimism was mainly connected to expectations of an improved economic environment, new product launches, marketing strategies, planned business expansion, and better weather conditions. So I think I'm getting invaded over there. So let's have a look. The Commonwealth Bank Composite PMI. I'm going to keep going. She's fine. She's just playing. She's found something out there to play with. This is the youngest one, if you can hear the screeching. If not, fantastic. December 19th, 49.6, contracting, faster rate of decline. So the Commonwealth Bank Composite Output Index is a GDP-weighted average of the Commonwealth Bank Manufacturing Output Index and the Commonwealth Bank Services Business Activity Index. It is designed to provide a timely indication of changes in business activity in the Australian private sector economy as a whole. So it's a combination of two. So they were half right on trading economics. Readings above 50 signal an improvement in business activity on the previous month, while readings below 50 show deterioration. The seasonally adjusted Commonwealth Bank Composite Output Index fell fractionally from 49.7 in November to 49.6 in December, indicating a decline in private sector business activity for a second straight month at the end of the year. The latest readings reflect declines in both services activity and manufacturing output. So we've got declines in both sectors, guys. Here you go. We can see, as I mentioned before, growth is declining. So there we have it, guys. A continued decline in the business activity sector. So what have you encountered in your business, in your trade? How have you finished up the year? Let us all know in the comments. What do you think this is going to lead to next year? And do you think we will start to see these job cuts reflected in updated unemployment figures? And then what message? So let's just theory craft a little bit here. We'll put on the hat. let's say if we get increased unemployment figures from this, we get reduced business confidence from this coming out, what do you think that will impact on the Reserve Bank Board's decision in February? You think we're going to get a cut then? 0.5? You reckon they'll go just straight to 0.25? Because, I mean, come on, guys, they've been nuts. Nuts last year. We're 0.75. Why not? I'd be surprised. I'd be terrified, actually, if they did that, because then they start pumping out their money printing. Sorry, quantitative easing. So let me know your opinion in the comments, guys. I think if we see these unemployment figures reflected in the figures, that's definitely going to influence the board. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us produce more content, we have a Patreon where you can make a small monthly donation. We also have the ability for you to join the channel, similar to Patreon, where you can receive access to emojis and badges next to your name, and you can use it in live chat and things like that. We have affiliate links with Independent Reserve for your crypto trading, Amazon and eBay for your consumer purchases. That's a great way for you to support a content creator. We receive a small commission for every transaction you make, and it doesn't cost you a cent. We also have PayPal if you want to make a direct donation. And thank you to everyone who's been so generous over the holiday period. I appreciate all the Happy New Year's and Christmas presents. And we sell our very own merchandise, pocket squares made by Rachel here in this very house. Find the link to our merch on the website below. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And I will talk to you all later. Bye for now.